how to recognize the signs of a toxic relationship. Maybe you're in a toxic relationship or relationship, you feel like it's toxic, you're not sure. Let me just give you a heads up. If you're researching this topic right now, if you're here with me right now, there's a high probability that it is toxic, but we're going to go more into details about what that looks like, how to recognize it, and what to do. So get your pen and paper out if this is something that is important to you, if you're serious about this. I do think it's a serious matter. I've been in one myself, in addition to being a mental health professional, practicing therapy, counseling, and so forth. I also have a history with toxic and narcissistic relationships. So I have both professional and personal experiences with the dynamics of relationship problems with toxic and narcissistic people. So let's first get into what is the definition, right? Because toxic relationships is something, it's a trendy term, right? Narcissism, toxic relationships, you hear people throwing that term around all the time. And in one way, it's good that people are learning. But on the other hand, if you're throwing it around so loosely, it can lose the severity, people understanding the severity of it, right? So in the simplest form, toxic relationship is a relationship that is destructive to your well-being, right? Something that is not good for you. If you took poison today, if you go in your cabinet and you take out some type of poison, rat poison or whatever it is, that's going to be destructive to your well-being, right? Your physical well-being. Same thing with a toxic relationship, a relationship that depletes you, a relationship that takes from you, a relationship that causes stress for you. Is just not good for you. Now, what gets confusing about toxic relationships is that there's usually good and bad moments. So a lot of people feel confused because they're like, but we do have good times, but they are sometimes good to us, right? My rule of thumb for this, and I recommend you apply this to your life as well, because this will save you from this toxic relationship and others, is that you should not have to sacrifice your well-being just to have some good moments, right? It is normal and healthy to have good moments with someone in a relationship and not have to also deal with the backlash of the bad moments, right? We're not talking about perfect relationships. That doesn't exist. We know that doesn't exist. But we also need to understand that you do not have to sacrifice dealing with disrespect, dealing with feeling broken, dealing with someone not treating you and respecting you in the way that you deserve just to have the good moments. Okay? But all in all, the definition of toxic relationship is a relationship that is destructive to your well-being. That can be your psychological well-being, your emotional well-being, again, causing you stress, keeping you on edge. You're not sure whether they're going to be up today or down today. You know, are you going to get the nice person, the love bombing, or the destructive person, the person that disrespects you, right? That is destructive to your emotional health, to your psychological health. And that can also manifest into your physical health as well, right? Many times people develop physical health issues and they don't understand why that's happening, right? But stress can affect your physical health, manifest physically without you realizing it. So now that you have the definition, might be helpful, but you might still be saying, okay, Nailah, but how do I recognize it? If I'm in this relationship now, you told me it's destructive to my well-being. That is something that you're going to have to take some time out. I highly recommend journaling. If you don't have a coach or a therapist, start journaling at least, where you can start processing your thoughts, putting your thoughts and your feelings on paper, because pen and paper does not lie. You know, the thing is with us human beings, we can think something, and when it gets too uncomfortable for us, the way our brain works is that it doesn't want us to be uncomfortable. It protects us, right? So we can easily switch that thought that made us uncomfortable, that truth about who we're dealing with or the situation we're dealing with. If that makes us too uncomfortable or causes us too much pain, our brain can quickly make us switch the thought, right? Without even realizing it, putting us in a state of denial, minimizing the severity of the situation. So journaling, if you don't have a coach as yet or therapist, journaling definitely can help, because once you write it down on paper, unless you take an eraser, you write it in pencil and you erase it, right? It does not lie. And that allows you to start processing, what happened here? How did this make me feel? How did I handle it? How did they handle it? Is this fair? Is this right? Am I being treated right? You can get these things down on paper. Okay, so you have the definition. Now you still say, okay, Nailah, give me some more. How do I recognize this definition that you're giving me? The question I want you to ask yourself, write this down, is how does having this person in your life affect your life? How does it affect your well-being? Okay, now mind you, I did not simply say make you feel, because again, our feelings can change to make us comfortable. Even if we feel bad in one moment because of the way we were treated, we can easily change that feeling, because again, our brain does not want us to feel uncomfortable or to feel pain. So you can ask yourself, how do you feel? But I think it's more important to ask yourself, how does this person affect your life? Because you see, when you look at your life and how someone affects your life, you have to look at the long-term pattern of your experience with this person. When we talk about feelings, we're usually just talking about in the moment, right? Which allows us to forget the past and the things we've been through in the past, whether the past was 2 days ago, right, that they did something, destructive to you, or a month ago, right? But when you look at your life, when you look at your time with this person, the months, the years with this person, and you look at the patterns of behavior from them, the patterns in the dynamics of the relationship with them, and you say, how does this overall make me feel? Is this good for me? Not are there good moments. Is this overall good for me? Is this healthy for me? That will allow you to identify whether this relationship is healthy for me or not. Okay? So as you're doing that, again, don't expect to get your answer right away. There are many factors that can slow that getting to that answer. Again, denial, we don't want to feel the pain, whatever it is. And them too, if they know that you were starting to search for answers, they're going to do things to start to confuse you, right? And we'll get into that in a moment. So I want to give you a couple of examples of what some signs of a toxic relationship may look like. Now, there's many different signs. People who are destructive, have destructive personalities, whether you call them toxic or narcissistic or sociopathic, whatever it is, they come in many shapes and forms, right? But I'm going to give you a few to think about, to consider, that might help you to also identify for yourself. So the first sign is drastic fluctuations in mood. Okay, so we're talking about the toxic partner or potential toxic partner. Drastic fluctuations in mood and in the way that you are treated. Let me give you an example. You are getting into fights, right? Maybe not physical, but verbal fights. It's very painful for you. It's hurting you emotionally. They're saying things that's hurting you, or they're giving you the silent treatment that's hurting you. Whatever it is, you're dealing with pain because of these fights. And then suddenly the fights stop. Maybe you threaten to leave or whatever it is. And the fights stop. You don't really talk about it. You don't really come to a solution for it, or process what happened and decide how you guys are going to do better. And you see actual change, consistent change, so you're going through these fights, but then the toxic partner books some lavish vacations for you, right? Summer is coming up, holidays are coming up, whatever it is, and they book these vacations for you. And now you are confused, because you're like, well, they are nice, they are trying, they're trying, right? But let me say this. Now I'm talking to the ladies here. So if you're a man, don't take offense to this. Everything I share here, you can reverse it, because there are toxic and narcissistic women as well. But I'm talking to the ladies here. When a man loves you, pay attention to this, please, because I think we overcomplicate this. When a man loves you, he is going to take heed to the things that are hurting you. When you are hurting, he will be hurting. And there is no such thing as I'm trying, but the same behavior continues. That's not someone that's trying. It's not that hard. And I'm not saying, again, we are human. There are things that, might be difficult for us to change because certain things are ingrained in our personalities. That's something separate, right? But when you have to constantly beg someone and point things out to them of where they did wrong, and they say, well, I'm trying, and they mask it with lavish vacations and buying you things and whatever it is, right? It's false. It's false because it's not that hard. When a man loves a woman, when he is serious about that woman, when he wants to make you his wife, the mother of his children, when he wants to grow old with you, and nurture who you are, right? Because there are some people who want to marry you, they want to grow old with you, they want to have children with you, but not because they love you, but because you are an asset to them. Okay? Know the difference. But when you have a man who want to do those things with you and nurture your being, your existence, they want to see you grow, they want to see you soar, right? Because they know when you do well, they do well. And they want both of you to do well individually and as a power couple, right? That is a healthy partner. And that is not someone you have to beg. I'm trying, but they keep doing the same thing. They keep hurting you over and over. That's not trying. They're masking their destructive behavior with distractions, with lavish distractions, whatever it is that they think you are impressed by. I have narcissists in my family. And I've always heard the story. I lost my mother when I was 10 years old. So there's some things I remember about her and some things that I've been told by other family members. And one of the things I was told about her is one of the family members who are narcissistic. And no one knew that he was narcissistic back then. This is something that I discovered as I got older and studied myself on, personality disorders and went through my own issues as well with relationships. But nevertheless, one of the things she used to say is, you can't buy me, because he would do things, to get in trouble and things like that. And he would be able to, buy other family members, buy them nice things or, show off, look how much money I made here. And she used to say, you can't buy me. And that's the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself, is that you cannot be bought. Let me tell you something about my personality. Not that you have to be like me. I do encourage you to make sure that you position yourself where no one can buy you, that you will never overlook their behavior based on the materialistic things that they're giving you. But let me tell you how serious I am about this philosophy. Not only can you not buy me, but I will become suspicious of you if you mistreat me and then come to me with some gifts. I'd rather you sit down on the couch with me, process what happened in our conflict. We both shared where we went wrong, and we work on doing better. And we actually start to see some change, real change, not just change to make me feel better and shut me up just for a couple of weeks and then you go back to the same thing again. No, real change. I'd rather see that than you buy me something, because now I'm going to say, ding, 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 ding. What is this about? Are you trying to distract me? Right? You don't have to be as drastic as I am, right? But it is important that you have your standards and your integrity where you cannot be bought. Okay? So drastic fluctuations in mood, where 1 minute they're up, the next minute they're down. You don't know which person you're going to get on what day. Okay? And in the way that they treat you. Okay? Like I said, fighting to lavish vacations. Right? 1 minute I'm helping you, the next minute I'm breaking you. And again, this works in their benefit. Keep in mind, this is a manipulative strategy to keep you hanging on, because they know that the way you're thinking, right? And that is what I work on with my clients in my program, the Relationship Detox, is we look at changing our mindset and the way that we handle relationships. Not only to heal in this situation, but to equip yourself so you can get into a new healthy relationship when you're ready. I know when you're going through this, you're not even thinking that way. That's not my goal here for you or whenever, but I do want you to be in a space where you trust yourself when that time comes to be in a healthy relationship. Okay? I was going to say one other thing, and I think it slipped me. and in the way you are treated. If it comes back to me, I'll tell you. All right. So the second sign is of a toxic relationship is that they blame you for their abusive behavior. They don't take any accountability. Okay. One of the things I experienced in my past toxic relationship was the narcissistic person used to use profanity towards me. Now, I'm not a complete square. I'm much better now than in the past, but I did use profanity from time to time. However, this is not something that I grew up with, and I do believe that it's one thing to use profanity loosely if you're joking around or you're just speaking amongst close people. That's my opinion on it. However, when you are getting into arguments and you are shooting these, F-bombs and name calling at someone that you love, that is very hurtful and very disrespectful, more importantly, right? And one of the things I used to be told when I would confront them, like, why are you talking to me like that? Is, yeah, because of your mouth. Now, that is something I hear a lot of women here experiencing is it's your mouth, it's your mouth. And, it's not that your mouth and let me explain this for those people who don't understand. When people say it's your mouth, they mean that you have a sharp tongue, right? You snap back easily, you tell them off quickly, your mouth is strong, you don't hold back. And, that puts people in a position where they start to say, well, maybe I am the wrong one, But here's the thing. And I'm not saying you're perfect, I'm perfect, no one's perfect. But here is the thing. This is a manipulation strategy. This is where they are blaming you for your reaction to their behavior. More than likely, you didn't just wake up out of the bed shooting out and telling them off and cursing them out and checking them and all of that, right? Your mouth is not sharp just for no reason. You actually, and usually subconsciously, you are in a state of defense mode because you are in a toxic relationship. You are in a relationship where you don't feel safe. Now, you may not use that verbiage because maybe you have not developed that verbiage as yet. You have not really identified the relationship as toxic yet. The person is toxic. The dynamics is toxic. But once you start to go through your healing journey, you start to find words and verbiage for what you are experiencing, right? So what is happening is that you may not, and that's why a lot of people say, well, am I the toxic woman? Am I the narcissistic one? You may be practicing some of the traits that you are seeing and experiencing from them. And this is your way of being defensive. This is your way of protecting yourself. Because you see, when we are not at peace in a relationship, this is part of how we may behave. Some people may freeze up and some people may be ready to fight. Right? And for those of us women who don't mind advocating for ourselves, I'm one of them, right? You will pick fight. And you may think that I'm fighting back, I'm speaking up, I'm putting them in their place. This is the right thing to do. Yes, you are supposed to advocate for yourself, but more importantly, a better way of advocating for yourself is to make sure you're not in any toxic environment, okay? Where you even have to constantly defend yourself. That is the key. When you prioritize your peace, and this is one of the mindset shifts I work on with my clients in the Relationship Detox program. When you prioritize your peace, you start to view things differently. You care more about having peace in your life than correcting someone else, especially when you have assessed the situation and assessed the relationship and you see that there is an ongoing pattern. Again, pattern doesn't mean every day, all the time, but there's fluctuations, right, in the way that you were treated, and you are being blamed for their behavior, right? And there's no accountability, right? You start to assess the situation differently, right? So that is one of the signs you will see, is that you are blamed for their poor behavior, okay? And don't be manipulated to think that you are the problem. Yeah, you're doing it too. Yes, you are responding to that toxic behavior, right? And is it a good way to respond? The best way to respond is to remove yourself. But sometimes it takes time, maybe a video like this, for you to realize, wow, this really is toxic. I need to get away. And if you're not even sure, I need to take a break. I need to separate. I need time to myself. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like it. They don't want you thinking too much, because then they know you're going to start to discover who they are. They want to keep you occupied. They want to keep you on edge. They want to keep you in their fog. Okay? The third sign that you can look out for a toxic relationship is that you are begging for the basics. What does that mean? Basic respect. Basic respect. Please speak to me with respect. If you're not going to speak to the cashier at the grocery store like that, why are you talking to me like that? If you don't talk to your friends like that, why are you talking to me like that? And you, again, so you have to beg for respect. Something like your consideration of your feelings. This hurts me. And they continue to do it. Here's a clue. Here's a strategy you can use when you say, okay, Nailah, what do you mean by begging for the basic respect? Or the basics. Look at how you treat your friends, the people that you really love, your relatives or your friends, or both, whoever in your life that you are close to. How do you treat them? How do they treat you? I'm talking about healthy relationships now, because you may have family that are not healthy for you. So don't look at them for an example. You may have friends that are not healthy. Don't look at them for example. And if you don't have anyone in your life right now that you don't see as healthy, then take a pen and paper, always, as I said, journal, and write down, what does a healthy relationship look like to you? What are the basics? Okay, again, think about when you go to the grocery store, when you go to the bank. How do you greet people? How do they greet you? If they do something wrong, do they apologize? Do they do better the next time? Right? These are the basics. And when you are in a toxic relationship, or you call it narcissistic, you find yourself begging for the basics. Just consider how I feel. Consider if I say I don't like this or I don't like that. Even if you don't agree, at least sit with me and talk with me and give me some reassurance that it is safe, it is okay, or you're willing to make some adjustments, right? These are the basics. And what happens is you find yourself over explaining, but don't you see this? Don't you see that? I don't like that. You know, you find yourself over explaining, and it's almost like banging your head on a brick wall. You're not getting anywhere. Okay? The last one is conflict is preferred over peace. What do I mean by that? You are in a relationship because you want love, you want companionship, and you want longevity. That's usually the case for most people. When you're dealing with someone with toxic traits, narcissistic traits, someone who is destructive to your well-being, they prefer to have conflict over peace. So while you are trying to have conversations with them, again, begging for the basic respect, explaining to them what they're doing that's hurting you, whatever it is, or not considering you, you're feeling neglected, you're going on trips with your children, your son or your daughter by yourself, they're not really interested in coming. It's like you're single but in a relationship, right? Whatever it is, and you're explaining this to them, instead of them going into the conversation with you with the intention to have a solution, right? To have a peaceful home, a peaceful relationship, they rather the conflict continue. They're not showing any interest in really having peace. Now, don't mistake peace with shutting you up. Don't mistake peace with pacifying you. They are very good at being manipulative and telling you things that they think you want to hear just to shut you up. Okay? You're going to really see the truth in the fruits of what they're saying in their actions. Okay? Their actions will show you, their words and their actions need to be in alignment, and that will show you whether their interest is to have peace in the relationship, genuine peace, not just shutting you up peace, right? That's just to shut you up so they can continue to be who they are. Genuine peace over conflict. You don't want conflict. You want peace. But I want you to keep in mind, not everyone is created equally. And as I call it, different rules apply. You have to deal with people according to who they are. Not everyone wants what you want. Yes, they may want marriage. Yes, they may want the relationship. Yes, they may want children. Yes, they may want to buy the house. They may want to do all the things, but guess what? That's all for an image. Okay, there are people out there that love the image of the family life, but they have a whole nother life going on. And they don't have the same genuine and motives behind having all those things as you do. Okay. I hope that this was helpful for you. If you missed any of this, rewind, write it down. If you are in a space where you're not sure if your relationship is toxic or not, I hope that this is helpful for you. I am always open to answer questions as well, so put them in the comments below. If you are connected to me on Instagram, you can DM me privately there. All of that will be in the description box below. And if you are looking to get out of a toxic and narcissistic relationship, or you are already out of one, but you understand that these people are not normal, these breakups are not normal, and you want support from someone who understands it on a professional and personal level, you don't want to go through it alone, go ahead and click the link in the description box below. I would love to support you through that. Check out the Relationship Detox. That is my coaching program where I provide support. I have courses. I provide coaching, everything you need to get you from point A to point B, where you are not wasting time in the aftermath. Again, these relationships, these breakups are not normal. Breakups in itself are difficult to deal with, but especially when you are dealing with people who are manipulative, causing you to feel confused. Sometimes your friends and family don't understand what you're going through. And a lot of times I see women going year after year after year, either still stuck in the relationship or they're broken up, but they have not really moved on. You see, you can leave a relationship physically, but mentally, a lot of people can still remain stuck. They're not able to move through it in a healthy manner. So if you don't want that to happen to you, you don't want to be stuck there, go ahead and click the link in the description box below to check out more about the Relationship Detox program. And again, I'm open to answer any questions you may have. If you are not already subscribed here, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.